This tutorial shows how to create question banks and then how to make quizzes using question banks. Click on your quizzes button. Once you're inside of your quizzes, you'll see 3 dots up here at the top. When you click on these buttons, you will see Manage Question Banks. Click on Manage Question Banks. I have created several question banks for this course. So out of all of the quizzes I've already created, I have 18 questions that are unfiled. Now, I want to choose which ones are for fractions and which ones are for ratios. So I have created a question bank for each of these. I did that by clicking Add Question Bank. I named the question bank, and then I pressed Enter, and that created the question bank. And now I am going to go into these unfiled questions and sort them into question banks. I'm going to say Move Multiple Questions, and I am going to choose from my questions that these 3 need to go into fractions, and then say Move those questions. Now, when I go back into my question banks, I'll see that the fractions has 3 questions. And I would do this to organize. The benefit to creating question banks is that when I go to build a quiz, I can then say I want 50 possible questions, but I only want a student to be given 20 questions. And then it's a random selection of questions, so you've not got students being able to copy and cheat. So click on Create Quiz in order to do this. Choose Classic Quiz and Submit. And then over in the questions, you'll notice that it says either Add Question, which is where you would build a question, Add a Question Group, or Find Questions. I'm going to first say that I want to do a new question group. This is where I get to choose that I want a certain number of questions to be selected from a question bank. So I can say out of this particular question bank or this group of questions, select that bank. I want one question to be randomly selected, and I want it to be worth 1 point. And then the students in the class are all getting a different question here. And I click Create Group. And now I know that I will be getting one question from this particular group. So if you've organized your questions into themes or topics, it's easy then to say, okay, I want this question to be selected from this group. If you don't care about doing that, you just want to find questions from previous quizzes, click Find Quizzes, and all of your quiz questions from this course are here. And you can see the unfiled questions here. You can select questions, click here, and then say Select. Add the questions into your quiz. So there's a lot of capabilities with this. You can either create quizzes where you're really paying attention to question banks, so maybe you're building questions with a team of people, and then you know that you've got like a very large pool of questions to choose from, and then you're going to say, I want to make a 10 question quiz that just pulls from a question bank, or you could go through and choose specific questions. And then you decide in the other part of the quiz, do you want the students to be able to see these questions one at a time? Does it matter the order of the questions? Those are all questions that you would answer at this time in this section right here on settings. Hopefully this gives you some ideas about how you could use question banks to create better quizzes and better assessments.